Gentlemen, welcome back to a chat with Matt. This is kind of a weird special because Andy and I were just talking about this before we started. It was the Andy weirdly comes in my life when there's milestones happening. I noticed, like, I had Andy on the first episode, so this is your third time on.
Yes,
Andy
it is
from
my
Revive
third
the
time.
Rose, everybody, by the way.
Hey,
Awkward intro.
here for a very special happy birthday.
Yeah, it was really weird timing because we were just talking randomly. You're like, "Oh, I'd love to come back on the podcast soon," and I'm kind of like, "Yeah, I'm booked a little bit." So, but I guess we can do like a birthday special, even though I don't really care about my birthday too much. And I'm turning 25, which is kind of a milestone year, and I figured I'd use it as an excuse to make content.
Hey,
because
why
I've been
not, man?
because I've been on the content train lately.
I feel like we're like telepathically connected at the right times, like when shit's going down. It's awesome.
Exactly, because we were just talking about all the shit both of us have going on in like the next like little bit, and it's been we're both keeping busy, and that makes me very happy. But I know you always keep busy. You got a lot of shit happening.
Always, man. Yeah, yeah. It's oh, yeah, I don't know. I can't wait till we can play live again, though. Like honestly, like there's only so much my brain can just like keep spewing out for like ideas, like without the show being there, But
I is it kind of like a stress reliever for you? Like it's you get to turn off your brain, just be in the moment, and just perform live, and not think about all the other shit they have to do to make a band be successful.
yeah, straight up, man. It's literally just yeah, it kind of is a stress reliever to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is, and I think like something that we're doing this weekend is you're going to be doing a upcoming performance for Oshawa Music Week, so we can promote that because you guys announced it, so I don't have to hide it.
Yeah, yeah. I've never really been too involved with the Oshawa music scene as this band. Like until like pretty recently, like when you saw us at the Greasy Atria for a bit. Uh, that was really one of the only times we played like the Volume Lounge way back. Like
Oh, the volume lounge.
that was a greasy time. Uh, Pretty sure there's people doing cocaine in the bathroom when we were
Yep,
playing that night.
yep,
Yeah,
that's
like
Oshawa.
no problem.
Well, I'm sure there possibly was someone doing that at the Atria as well. But you know
Yeah,
what?
probably.
It's Oshawa. It's okay. People understand kind of what it is, especially near downtown.
I never did the what was it called? The Mustache Club?
Oh, Mustache Club. Oh,
I never was a part of that though, which is a sad. Like I've heard
it
so
was
many
such
good
a vibe.
things.
It was such a vibe. People loved it. Is where we is where you know the homestick events that were going on a lot, like the emo
Yeah.
nights. Like that's where they were hosting the one in Oshawa for a while.
Okay.
And like it was the perfect vibe. Like I have a couple old videos from it. I'll show you after this, but it was just such a vibe. And then they moved it to the music hall when the Mustache Club closed, which like sucks because it was such a sick venue, a great little 120 venue.
A
But
good
then
size too.
it was a nice size for a good developing act, like an
Yeah.
act that's about to break and like about to start opening for bigger acts. It's a perfect development area. And when that closed and the music hall took that over, that's kind of when everything started to change. And but then the thing is, every homestick at the Mustache Club sold out, like over capacity. It was always everyone wanted to go. And so when they moved to the music hall, and like the first time they moved it, the first show, it was like 3 or 4 months after the Mustache Club closed. Like they waited a bit for the school year to start, and then like the first night was nearly sold out, and that was like 600 cap or something like that.
That's nuts.
It was really interesting because I just we didn't expect that response, and now especially with the new venue that you guys are coming to record your performance for the festival that was already announced. You're gonna shit. It's crazy, and I can't wait for people to see more about it because it's like multi-floored, and I've talked about it before, so I'm not gonna go too far into it. But it's multi-floor. The main venue, the main floor is gonna be 1,200 cap. Basement venue is gonna be like 350, 400.
1,200 cap.
1,200 cap in a
That's
second in
insane.
a secondary market. Think about that. That's fucking nuts.
Wow. That's a great upgrade. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's the
Good for
best
those guys.
scenario. It's the best scenario. And then because we get to use the old dungeon room, it's kind of like a legacy thing because that's where the legendary dungeon we have a lot of paraphernalia that was from the dungeon, like a lot of signs and special monuments, kind of in a way where we're gonna like put them around the venue to honor past venues before. It's going to be really sick.
That's so sick, man. Wow, I love the thought going behind this place. That's so sweet.
And
It's gonna be super game changing.
yeah, with Ed, Ed is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. And you met Ed a few times, and he absolutely deserves it. And I think this is going to be a massive win for the Oshawa community, especially when we can go back to shows again.
Yeah, man. That's and you know it's gonna cater to all types of you know bands at different levels too, right? Like that's gonna be great. Like I think that's important, and yeah, just to the scene in general. Like it's gonna from what you're telling me, it's kind of just gonna be like this nice little one-stop shop kind of deal. You know, I like that. That's sweet.
Yeah, and it's been really great seeing this worked on, and like just the different amenities that are being put into the venue, and just also the space you're going to use, which is the restaurant to become soon to be restaurant beer garden kind of place. It's going to be really big when we can get back to it. It's
Oh
just
man, I can't wait, dude.
everyone get vaccinated. Let's go.
Yeah. And I'll have to tell him to maybe put some bar down lager on tap while
Oh,
he's at it.
oh, absolutely. They're well, they want beer, so you definitely have a good chance at that. Talk to people about the beer. I didn't really get to talk to you more in depth about like the process of you getting the beer from concept to market.
Yeah, man. So the beer, like we've always thought about making the beer. Like we originally actually it was we were gonna make a Moxie blonde beer before and have like you know like a nice hot chick on it and stuff like that. Like, that was the original plan. But we always said, but the a hockey beer would be cool too, right? Like bar down lager. We actually always said, and coincidentally, the single art for bar down was a hand holding a tall can that says bar down on it. So it's like freaking man, not Mandela effect, but it's like predicting the future. I guess
Yeah,
I don't know. It
exactly.
was
And
crazy.
it was a sign from the universe that something good was about to happen.
I guess so. I didn't even think about it until later. I was like, yo, we did that already. Um, but yeah, pretty much when we got in the when we got word about the NHL soundtrack, our song being an NHL 21.
Yeah,
Um,
congrats by the way. That's fucking
oh,
massive.
thanks, brother. That definitely kept us afloat for the remainder of 2020. Just like constant buzz. Like I couldn't believe it, man. TSN wrote a whole article on us. Like it was nuts.
That's fucking huge.
Yeah, I just like I woke up one day and my buddies were sharing the article. I just saw my fucking big wizard beard on the front cover of bardown.com. I was like, wow. But because we couldn't tour, right? So like otherwise I would have like made a you know a hockey themed tour or something like that, right? Like and just play shows. But this beer is great. It was a great idea for the moment, and I hit up I don't know. So like Tom's Brew House is kind of like, you know, ad for you, like kind of like Eric's been super involved, the owner of Tom's Brew House. He's been super involved with the music scene in Niagara Falls, and he's just always been down for live music in general. So like, and we started out playing there a lot, and he's the first guy I thought of. I knew they weren't up to much, so I just asked him like, "Yo, like, we just casually got added into NHL 21, the video game, and we want to make a beer. Like, what do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're doing shit all, so let's do it." So,
Love when that works out.
yeah, and it was cool because he's like, "Man, usually I'd be way too busy to be doing stuff like this, but because of the pandemic, I." You know, gave me something new to do, and it turns out it was one of the most successful beers Taps has ever done. So, pretty sure it's like the number one selling beer right now for them. So,
And that's the interesting thing. And once again, congrats about that. That's fucking massive as well. But it's interesting because the pandemic, and this is something I've especially talked about in the last few weeks because we're another anniversary. We're just about to hit like the 1 year anniversary of everything locked down. And oh, funny enough, I remember March 15th was the day. I remember my job called me saying, "Oh, we're closing for COVID." So that's a weird kind of coincidence. So another anniversary, the day we're recording this, which is Monday. Context.
oh,
It
crazy, man.
yeah, it was a weird. So it's weird. So everyone's kind of being a bit more retrospective and like thinking about would I be where I am right now, whether or not the pandemic was happening or not. And that was a concept I talked about in the podcast I recorded earlier today, which you guys are going to see tomorrow. Um, it's it's just interesting to see because like for you, do you think you wouldn't have made certain moves or anything. Do you think that you would have adapted more to what's happening right now, like online development and all that kind of stuff? Or do you think if the pandemic wasn't happening, you wouldn't have been more inclined to do more in-depth analysis and work on it?
Yeah, no, you know what, man? I'm actually super grateful that this kind of happened, and only grateful in the sense of like the music career, not the pandemic itself. Like
Yeah.
that's very unfortunate, but in the sense where like the world allowed me to just calm down for a second and reset and really look at what assets we do have to offer here. Like everything updates so quickly all the time, you know, like before you know it, MSN was gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like we're always just constantly going and going. And finally we're at a time where it's like, okay, so what do we have? We've got nothing else going on. What exists and how can we utilize it, you know? And it was kind of nice to do that. It was kind of nice to trim the fat in some areas where it's like, well, don't really need to focus on that stuff, you know? And I don't know, it just helped me really grow I don't think I would have honestly we like doubled our following this last year. It's crazy, man. Just like I don't know, just a lot opened other avenues I just would have never done had I just been like doing the same grind, you know? Like I can't even explain it. Like it's just it's a weird blessing I never really asked for.
No, and I think that's the perfect summary of this. Like it's a blessing in disguise because it's like you said, it's great because you've had more time to reevaluate and look in different avenues that you never traditionally would have, because it's more in depth, because especially online, because I noticed the music industry and I'm referencing this once again tomorrow podcast, go check it out if you're seeing this on Friday or whenever. But with the things of developing, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. It's Monday, I'm tired.
I hear you.
With that's why I'm recording this at 9:30, because I'm going to go to bed early. 25, folks, 25. But it's, what was I saying? Fuck's sakes. Andy, remind me.
Oh, it's okay. I think what you're getting at is in the sense oh frig, what was I just gonna say now? I know what you were getting at.
Andy's also tired.
Dude, what the hell? I literally like was just like I have the perfect solution, and like I don't. God damn.
Oh, that's so great.
I guess what I'm saying is, because the industry kind of got to like halt, in the sense like I think the industry itself also needed a reset in a sense, which is kind of weird to say. I know it's like, you know,
Yes,
it's been the same template since it started, you know, and it just, like I said, even with technology, just slowly evolves. But now it's like, really we get to trim the fat and just kind of see like what's important, what's going to be the new way of things now.
Yeah, it's a weird transition period. That's what I was going to say. It's a weird transition period because the music industry does always feel like it's a few steps behind, especially with technology and like the massive jumps that we're making very quickly, because more people are now taking the time to really think and develop and understand different things. Because and like I've seen more advertising campaigns kind of promote that working after work, or because you're working at home, you also have more time to work on this kind of thing. Like just you have less time, you have more time because you're not able to go do the normal things you're normally doing.
Yeah, exactly that, man. Yeah. And yeah, I can't believe how like even like let's say with merchandise, like, you know, like we used to order that like in bulk like crazy, like, you know, because we would play shows. But now it's like, oh, you know what, we'll just do, now you got to think of like, hey, like let's do a pre-order based version, let's do a bundle so it's like worth people's time, you know. And then like there you go, that's it. And then whoever got it, and then you might have a few left over just to give away, you know. It's like, it's totally like, now you're thinking of it that way versus like, oh, we're gonna need a couple thousand of these, like, you know. So it's like, yeah.
Well, it's just interesting to think about like the positions we were in at this point last year, as opposed to, because if nothing changed. And just thinking about, like, I remember legit the next 2 week period, I like was just losing my mind trying to figure out something to do, because like the tours I was booking were getting canceled, and like all this different shit. And then I was just like, I need to somehow create and do something music industry related. And that's kind of when the podcast idea came in. Cause like, oh, I remember I did a college radio show when I was at MBM, and like, I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed talking to different industry people. And so I'm like, oh, I have time to talk. And it's also funny because you were the first guest I had on the podcast when it was an Instagram live thing. So
Even that was new when the pandemic started.
Yeah.
That was a new feature.
I saw a couple people doing like different like live stream conversations, or I started seeing artists doing live stream conversations with each other. And I was kind of like, oh, what if people just talked about what's going on in the industry, or just talk about whatever and just hang out and have a conversation? And that's where I was kind of like, well, I have nothing else to do. Let's do 3 days a week.
Yeah, there you go, man.
You can't go
honestly
anywhere, so 3 days a week. You might as well.
Yeah, dude. And even those, like, I was starting to treat them like booking gigs almost, man. Like, it's like that's kind of why I'm not doing any podcasts of sorts right now, just because I got other focuses. I realize, because it does get stressful trying to book guests sometimes, man. And but I realized that was a good opportunity at that specific time for me, because yeah, the booking agents weren't doing much, but that means the bands weren't doing much. But then, they still need press, and they needed to get out there still. So it was kind of like booking free shows, almost. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was just like kind of a little loophole there, I guess, So
yeah, it was that interesting period where at the beginning we didn't have the opportunity to figure out what to do, because everything was closed and every avenue we were all just kind of figuring out technology. It was like, once again, when they first discovered fire, like they started banging some stuff together, and they're like, okay, wow, this is new and different. Random analogy, but because the music industry can be so far behind in certain things. And now, and once again, wrap it back around, it's because we're forced into that new evolution and new next stage development in online content creation and engaging with an audience without actually being in person with an audience.
Yeah, it's definitely a more organized pandemic right now, for sure, compared to last year. It's definitely less of a shit show, I've noticed, but it's getting there, which is good. Like, I'm glad we're seeing some light, hopefully.
Yeah, and especially with the news of the vaccines and stuff like that coming up, it's
I'm nervous for
hopefully.
that.
Yeah, of course, so am I, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, I'd rather get the vaccine and have it have no effect or anything like that, but like, it's still worrying because of everything. But I just want things to start going back to a sense of normalcy. Like, I feel like a lot of us have developed a new set of skills, and I'm now really interested in seeing how people are going to adapt it from all this time they've had off to develop new skills, to potentially create some sort of hybrid of the way things were that were good, but adding in the new hybrid things to make things more interesting and expand an audience.
Do you find now, because of this pandemic, do you find that you process things a little more before you kind of like say, like, even like say what you gotta say or do what you gotta do? Like, I find me like a lot of I like Windows 98 that shit right to my brain before it fully like takes effect of like what I'm doing. Before I was always like, yeah, fuck it, like, but now it's like, hold up, let me calculate this more now. Like even like when I'm in public, I'm like a little more like paranoia almost. Like, it's hard to explain what I'm trying to get at. Like, I just like I'm very cautious more now of things before like I make a green light decision on stuff,
Yeah, and yeah, cautious is definitely the best way to think about it, because I think there's an understanding that anything can happen at any point, and just you're realizing certain things matter more in life. Because like, I something I did was I started reading more books, and just because I used to read books a lot and I just wanted to try and learn more new things. So I've read a few books recently, and one was called Essentialism. And what Essentialism did was, because something that I did when I was early in my industry career, but also like early working stuff, like I always said yes to every opportunity. And I did that because I wanted to get as much experience and exposure and
Exactly.
as much as I could. And because I spread myself as much as I did, it kind of wore on me and it tore me down and just made me like, get tired and stressed and all that kind of shit. And like now, because of that, and how everything kind of shut off at once, which is the blessing part of the blessing and curse thing for the pandemic. It's made me really think about like, how will this affect me long term? How will this new set, how can I adapt to what I now know to a new world, because everything is still developing and we're still trying to figure things out as we go. And also just be more thankful for the things that you maybe take for granted or something like that, and just that you're thankful
Totally.
for a new perspective on how things can and can't go.
Yeah, man. I'm honestly like, I keep thinking about lately, like just how nightlife will be now, like from here on. Like I'm just so curious. I'm not even like worried about it. I'm just more so like just curious, like I'm just been really thinking about that lately. I'm like, man, like what's it like? Everyone's gonna be like just on whole different wavelengths now. Like everyone's gonna be like just it's gonna be like blue balls, like just escaping everybody. Like everyone's gonna be like wanting to do everything. I feel now, like I don't, and just like we're gonna meet some interesting characters now. Like when you go out, I don't know. I'm just like I've been in a very curiosity stage lately versus a worried stage at this point. Like
I I
just
I, I
just
think
wondering.
I think a big part of that is, like, I know especially for me, I definitely got jaded from live shows, because, and I'm sure you've experienced this kind of as well. Like when you may go to a show sometimes, and sometimes it automatically turns into almost like a work thing where you're like meeting people and networking with people, and like you don't get to enjoy like just being at a show.
Yeah,
You kind of get what I mean. Like, nothing wrong with that. I love meeting new people and connecting with new people. It's just I know how my brain works, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start talking to this person, getting to know them, and seeing what they do and all that kind of stuff.
yep.
And like, I'm thankful for it, but also like, I don't really get to go to shows sometimes and just enjoy shows.
Totally, man. Yeah, dude, I hear you on that hard. I actually I had a really relieving moment though in that similar situation. I remember I was at Indie Week with my boy Kyle Wilton from Excuses, and we were just cranking tequila. Like it was just nice to just kind of like not give a shit. Like you're around all these industry people, but you're like, fuck it. Like let's just have a good time, I don't know. I hear what you mean by that though, man. Sometimes you're just like you're aware, like you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, like it's it's more of a time where we get to take advantage and kind of relax and rethink things, and explore different creativity outlets and stuff like that. Like something that we're both working on right now is we're working on TikTok, and that's been a whole
Oh,
mess
I
of
love it,
worms.
man.
It's great, but also just I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't really get it.
But here, I'll finish what you're saying because what it's doing for you, man, it's grounding you as a person. I find, man, it's bringing you back to like, like you said, you're so used to like, you know, all this hustle and whatnot, but like, kind of brings you back to that youthful self almost, where you're simply enjoying the moment, like, like that's what's nice about the TikTok. I find,
Yeah, it
even
definitely
with
helps.
me, I found like I've been able to channel my inner artist self again because of this pandemic. Like just like, oh, Andy C writes bops and he has a fun time doing that, like, and I love just like posting acoustic videos like just for fun, and I don't know, just a little more relaxed vibe on it. But like that's why I think it's cool like that you're doing the TikToks and stuff, because I really noticed that you're just having a blast with it, man. Like it's just
It's been fun just to shut off my brain and just think about the random shit and just react to stuff and just think of stupid things to say.
and it's there's no formula for that app. That's what's great. So it's
There's
always
not.
it's
That's the
throwing your
thing.
brain for a curveball all the time. It's like, okay, here's a fucking Pinocchio, and now here's like this cat bopping to a guy playing a conga. Like, like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very interesting app, and I'm very curious where it can and can't go because I honestly have no idea.
Yeah. But like I even used to think Instagram was random back then, but now no, it's like a formula almost now, like those apps, you know? Like it's gotta be like you gotta have to know your own groove for it. But like yeah, TikTok, anything goes. That's why it's killing it right now.
Yeah, and it's killing it, and I think it's been interesting because like I've seen certain people that even I know like work more professionally in other aspects of their life, but they're posting kind of similar stuff to what I'm doing, and it's not really affecting that half of your life. So
No.
and that's interesting that it just kind of everyone feels very relaxed and open just to think and just post whatever and just shoot the shit essentially.
Yeah, but you can't even be professional with the app almost. Like you can't like if I posted like the like need you now out now like the normal version of it, like if I just left it at that on TikTok, people be like, okay, like why did I just witness that? But
Why
like
did no one slip on a banana peel? What is this?
yeah. So literally at the start my videos going like, hey, hold the fucking phone. We just dropped a banger. Check this shit out. It's like less seconds of the song. It's like, yeah, you like that? Go like check it out. And it's like at 50 likes, like just like that, like I don't know, just different. I'm learning there's different ways you approach like how you should advertise. Like if you do have new music coming out, like with TikTok, it's like kind of have to like put a little more casual side to it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because people seem to be also, and which is interesting because we're all locked down and we can't go see each other. People are really connecting with personalities on there, I've noticed. Like they want to see a bit more of who you are and your humor or just more about
I love
you as a
that.
person. And that's why like I'm seeing some of these like TikTok kids and just like the girl that hit Charlie D'Amelio, I think her name was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these kids that like they're being themselves, which is really creative and interesting, and they're just posting whatever the fuck they want, and like all of a sudden you go from like 0 to 100 plus million followers, and like even the stuff you and I were talking about, like I showed you a couple of mine that did well, and you were just like, well, this is it's so stupid, but people seem to really enjoy it. I'm like, I know, I don't get it.
But I love when I come across like someone that's just like they're just being themselves, like you read that off the bat with TikTok, like like, and I like there's some interesting people on there, like I don't know, I like when you can connect with a personality on the app for sure, man.
Yeah, and I really hope that, and I encourage people, and I definitely want to keep promoting this. Like, one, don't look me up on TikTok, please. Two,
Yeah, I love it. Don't follow me.
don't follow
It's
me.
like, of course I'm gonna follow you now.
It's reverse psychology. They're figuring it out. But
Yes.
no, I honestly encourage artists, especially, to really engage their personality and kind of be more expressive about who they are and their sense of humor, or just be more personable, because that's an app that I'm definitely seeing a lot of people become more personable and just really wanting to connect with each other. And but the thing I'm trying to figure out is how to convert those people over to followers to other things.
Yeah, like transfer them over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the next thing I'm trying to figure out.
But I love it though, like you even had that the celebrity, which I won't spoil in this one, comment on your video, and you're
Oh,
just
I
like,
already
oh,
announced it. I
oh, that's right. Okay, sorry, man. I'm driving
I
now.
was about to say, wait, thank you, I appreciate it, but wait, I think I announced it. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Bill Schott or Schote, I will get his name right before the show.
yeah.
Schote.
You hopped right on the opportunity though. You're like, this guy just, like, come on, come talk to me, and he's just like, all right.
He's like, all right, I'm down. I'm like, all
That's
right,
great.
shit. For those who don't know, Bill Schote played Mr. Larry Tate on Wizards of Waverly Place. He was the
Yeah.
principal at the school. It's the most random connection I could get.
A
So
legendary.
it's such a meme, and I love it. I love it so much because it's such a fucking meme.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. That's like if you got like Mr. Mosby from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. So like that's
Exactly. It's
just
such
like
a
what?
meme. And I love it. And I'm also just really curious about, because I don't know if how much his hands are tied to the mouse still, as I will put it so gently. But because NDAs and all that
Wait,
kind of shit.
who?
Like Bill, because you know how sometimes Disney or any of these big corporations have like certain NDAs that like last an X amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's under one of those, but I will definitely try and get an understanding of the process behind Disney because I'm very curious how things work behind there, especially when you're on a show.
Yeah, no, totally. It's always been like a mystery. No one's really like revealed a lot, eh? Like, yeah, I come to think about it. Yeah, those NDAs are on point.
Yeah, I was say Mickey will call you if you break
Yeah.
it.
You ever watch South Park with Mickey Mouse? He's like
Yes,
the
it's that Mickey Mouse is going to call you,
yeah.
or
What
you,
seems to be the problem here, boy?
or Master Yoda
You're
calls
wearing
you.
a Mickey Mouse shirt.
Yeah, yeah. I got actually funny enough. I am wearing a
Your
Mickey
boy.
Mouse shirt. It's a '90s. Here, I'll stand up. Actually, it's a very
That is
90s.
so 90s.
It's a very '90s era kind of shirt, and I got it
I
at a
love it.
vintage clothing store in Whitby. Shout out.
Oh, and Whippy, okay.
Yeah, actually, if they're open, I might suggest that you swing by there. Vintage 905, I think it's called.
Oh, I've heard of them, man.
Yeah, Vintage 905. They are really great. I definitely recommend them.
Wow, no kidding. Okay.
Like a lot of
That's
retro stuff, especially like Alexa got like an early copy of like an Eagles record or something like that.
really.
Yeah, they have vinyl and just different paraphernalia, like from high end stuff to like Supreme and all that kind of stuff, and like vintage band merch and just vintage shirts, like very '90s era kind of clothing.
I like it. I like it. That's very NDC. So I'm gonna go check that out when I can.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, I am gonna have to cut this short because I have another thing that I have to shoot that I've talked to you about beforehand that I'm not going to talk about on here.
No worries, brother. I'm glad I came on again, man. It was great to catch up with you today.
Yeah, I just also didn't want to make too big of a thing about my birthday. So thank you to all those who've seen this that have wished me a happy birthday. Thank you. It's weird being 25, but I'm glad that I'm keeping busy, and I'm glad you're keeping busy, and I hope everyone keeps busy, and we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel soon. I hope.
Yeah, happy quarter life crisis, man.
Oh, don't get me started. I think I was debating calling this the existential crisis special.
Yeah, you should, man. I love that.
Yeah, oh, it's so great. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. There's gonna be a new episode tomorrow, and there's gonna be another. I think next week I'm not posting 2 episodes, but the week after that I'll be posting my 1 year special with Bill Schote from Wizards of Waverly Place. And Andy, where can people find you and what you got going on?
Yeah, you can find us at Revive the Rose. That's my band. You can also find my beer at Bar Down Lager. And yeah, we got some new tunes rolling out this year. So the content will, as always, be as lit as possible. So yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, thanks for having me on, brother. Appreciate it.
No, absolutely. All right, everybody. I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Peace.
Take it easy.